Nothing. And she's firing. Maybe that's why you couldn't get it running. Is change the oil and we'll be ready to go. There we go. Dry as a bone and clean as a whistle. Heading over to a friend's to pick up his golf cart. He said it ran fine. He was coming around a corner and it quit. And he hasn't been able to get it started since then. So we'll pick it up, check it out, and see what we can do. Just picked up the golf cart and heading back to the shop. It's in rougher shape than I thought. Maybe do a little cleanup on it, along with trying to get it to run. She's rough, she's dirty. And from what I understand, it ran and they came around a corner and it quit. So it sat all winter. I'm charging the battery. See if we can get that working. And then we'll check it out. Well, the charger's been on for a little over an hour and the battery is taking a little bit of a charge. So I'm going to clean up the post and see if we get any fire. Before I go any further, I want to test this battery. So I'm going to put it on 20 DC volts to cover the 12 volt battery. Turn it on here and test it. Oh, we got 13 volts. There was a bolt missing from the positive pole, so I'll go ahead and put that on and see what we get. See if we get any fire out of this thing. Nothing. Well, that's not a good sign. I guess I should check the oil and make sure there's some in there. It's a 4-cycle engine. It's dirty as can be, but there is some oil in there and it's up high enough. Enough for us to work on it. Since we have nothing, I just want to make sure the engine's not froze up. And it's not. So we're okay there. Next, I'm going to tap on the starter, see if I can get something out of it. Ah! There we go. This thing sits outside, obviously. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I've got some fuel in here. And we do. I'm sure it's old, but at least we got a chance to get this thing moving. Well, I was hoping it was going to be a quick fix, but as you saw, I had to bang on the starter just to get it to move a little bit, and it's all froze up. Not the engine, but the starter. So I'm going to call the owner and ask how deep he wants to get into this since it's in such rough shape. Because the next thing to do, even before we can try to get it to run, is pull the starter off and see if it can be cleaned up, or it might even need a new starter. This thing is so filthy, it's hard to see here from there, so I'm going to go ahead and pressure wash it real quick. And I'm going to cover this up. This leads into the air filter, and I don't want to pour a bunch of water in there. kind of hate to do that, but it was so dirty I just couldn't see which way was up and which way was down. So, and I kept this covered here. So I think we're good. All right, we're ready to work on it. Well, it's pretty obvious we've got a problem with the starter. So before I can even figure out why it's not running, we'll pull the starter out. And I think it'd be easiest to move this air filter, air cleaner first. Looks like there's 2 bolts that hold that in. I'm also going to disconnect the battery. Disconnect the air hose going to the carburetor. Take the cover off the air filter. That could use a cleaning. Then to remove the air filter canister, you just push it forward and it slides out. No extra charge for the mouse nest. While I'm here, there's a little grease fitting on the clutch. I'm sure it's probably never been greased. So I'll hit that with a little grease. There's 2 mounting bolts, 12 millimeter and a 17 millimeter. We'll loosen those, pull it out. There we go. It's through bolted. There's a nut. I'll just pull that bolt out. Actually, or a washer and a lock washer. There we go. That's a hardened bolt. Goes through there. There's a washer, lock washer, and then the nut. All right, on the back side of the starter, this post is the ground, and the front post goes to the solenoid. There's the nut on this side, and it's just through bolted. Little bolt on the back side. Now we should be able to pull that starter out. A little bit. And there we go. Oh, one more wire. There we go. Now we can pull her out. Now that we have it out, let's take it over to the workbench and see what's up. All right, we got the battery here. Negative, hooked up to negative, positive to positive. On the back is the negative post that I told you about. And we'll go ahead and connect that. And here's the positive post. This starter should spin if it's any good. We'll hook it up. We got nothing. Let's see if I tap on it. Kicked a little. See it? It's trying. Either it's all rusted and gummed up in there, or the brushes are shot. Let's take it apart and check it out. All right. These brushes are completely worn out. You can see that one's fully extended and it doesn't even reach the armature on here. That's true of all three of these. And then this one here, there's nothing even there, and it's all gummed up and jammed up in there. So I'm going to have to order new brushes. I'll get that ordered and we'll get back at it. And she's firing with some power. So we're good to go, ready to install. Let's do it. Okay, with the starter rebuilt, we can go ahead and reinstall it. I had the carburetor covered while it was sitting out so I don't get any animals, mice, or anything getting in there, the carburetor. We'll throw it in and see if it'll run. Of course, the installation of the starter is just the opposite of taking it out. There we go. There we go. And we'll put our washer and lock washer and nut on. And before I tighten that down, I'm going to pull this forward, put the belt back on, and put this nut and bolt back in. Bolt goes on the inside like this, locks in the channel with these square grooves, and then the nut goes on the outside towards the belt. So I'll just slide it in here, locked it in, and finger tight. Snug the mounting bolt down, not tight, because I still have to adjust the belt. Okay, that's good enough. Now we've got this set. It's going to take a 12mm, tighten that. I'm going to put this against the block of the engine down low and then just push down. And I can tighten this down without damaging anything. See how tight that is? That's good right there. And then I can finish tightening that bolt down at the bottom. Alright, that should be tight enough. Good. Now we'll reconnect the wires. Okay. Of course, this is self-explanatory. Green goes to green and red goes to red. Put my lock washer on. And the nut. And snug that down. tight. All right, we got the wires on, and these fuel lines don't have any hose clamps on them. Maybe that's why you couldn't get it running, it's just sucking air. So I'll see if I can get some clamps for those. Put the battery in and see if we can get it to run. With these fuel lines being so loose, I mean, I haven't even tried to start it, obviously, but he said it wouldn't run, wouldn't start. And these fuel lines might have been so loose that it's just sucking air. Wasn't able to pull any fuel. So these hose clamps might do the trick. There we go. That's better. I'm going to take a bold step because of that. And instead of jacking the back up, I'm just going to take these tools off and see if it'll run. That'd be something. I think I'm going to shoot some starting fluid in there real quick. Fuel, spark, and air. Gotta be one of them. But we'll see what happens here. Choke. The forward and reverse cables are all gummed up. So I'll drop a little oil in there and try to free that up. Also had a fuel leak in the fuel pump here, and I tightened up these hose clamps, and hopefully the seals are okay in the fuel pump. I'll keep an eye on that. Clean the air filter. Pull this off and wash it in soapy water, and I'll blow the filter out. And to check if the filter needs changing, you can look, put a light on the outside and see if it shines through, it's clear, or you can hold it up to the sun. This one doesn't look bad, but I'll blow it out. And you just get some soapy water and wring it out in there. Now just let that air dry, change the oil, and we'll be ready to go. Now we'll do a quick oil change. Takes 10W30, this is a 4-cycle engine. I'll just loosen the drain plug. Okay. And there we go. We're all drained out. Put the drain plug back in. And snug it down. Good. We'll back up to the top, put some fresh oil in it. Be all ready for this season. All right, here's the fill cap. And right on the top of the cap it says SAE 10W30 4-cycle oil, 1 quart. So we'll put a quart in and then check it. I've got it jacked up so I can get the drain pan under there. I'll take it off the jack before I do the final check on the oil level. And of course I put safety blocks under there. Let her down. And we'll check the oil. We're about halfway. So I need to add a little more. That ends up being a 1.25 quarters to 1.5 quarters. Ho! Perfect. Right there. Max. And clean. Alright. Put the air filter back in. Should be dry by now. And we're just about done. Filter cover's dry. Filter's blown out. You can put the cover back on. Beautiful. Good shape there. I'm going to wipe this top out a little bit. Alright. And I already wiped all this out. There's a seal on here. Just put it back on. Nothing to it. Put it in the canister. And you can't get it wrong. It only fits one way. And you just pull these little straps up. And hopefully they're not dry rotted. And these didn't rip so far. And one more, 4 of them. Beautiful. And we're ready to reinstall. And it's real simple. Simple to install, simple to remove. And I'll show you how that goes. These 2 bolts go in. You'll see where they go in, but in the bottom here, see this rubber O-ring? That slides right on a nub in there, and I'll show you that. Goes right on this little nub. And then the 2 bolts go in there. So you put this in, tipped like that. Just take the bolts out. You put it in and then slide it back. And now it's sitting on that nub. I can't pull up on it. Then you just put these bolts back in. I always turn them counterclockwise till I hear them click. And then turn them clockwise. I don't want to cross thread it. And just snug them up. Good. Good. Now connect the air filter hose to the carburetor. There we go. Okay. Good. This one's loose. Okay. Put this breather hose back on. Beautiful. All right. Take her for a test drive. Make sure there's no leaks. Make sure the fuel pump's not leaking anymore. Might give this one more squirt so those cables are working free. Might as well check the tires quick while we're at it. They call for a maximum of 22. We got 12 in here. I'll go 20. We're good. Let's take her for a test drive, and then we'll check and make sure all the fluids are okay. Little choke. and responsive. Ready to tee it up. Hey, Mindy. We'll check our reverse. Oh yeah, that's no problem. That shift's nice now. Back and forward, nice and smooth. Oh yeah, she's ready to go. Good for another season. Just gotta check the leaks. And this is where our fuel leak was. Dry as a bone. Beautiful. And we'll check the oil. One more time. Perfect. And clean as a whistle. No leaks. She's ready to go. All cleaned up. If this video was a help to you, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And I look forward to helping you with other projects online.